Hey everyone, this is Hugh from Plaguelands Media, wearing Plaguelands Media merchandise. You can find this shirt on Redbubble. It's fucking awesome. Bringing you a double book review today. Today I am going to talk about two books by the same author, More Better Deals and Moon Lake, both by Joe R. Lansdale. These are his two latest novels. More Better Deals was released last year and Moon Lake was released this year. Joe R. Lansdale is, in my opinion, one of the most underappreciated authors working today. He has written almost 4 dozen novels, the Hap and Leonard series, which was made into a TV show, and all of his novels cover a wide spectrum of genres and topics. He writes horror, he writes crime, drama, historical fiction, Wild West stuff. Just a really fantastic author. Now, before I talk about the books, I want you to understand that if you are going into a Joe R. Lansdale novel looking for some sort of high literary voice, you're not going to find it. I liken his work to that friend that we all have who just knows how to tell a good story. I have a great friend, a friend of the channel, who often works with Ian and I on Plaguelands Media stuff, Dr. Luke Carmen. He contributed to our second book of short stories. Now, when my wife and I would fly back to Australia from South Korea, more often than not, he would be kind enough to pick us up at the airport and drive us from Sydney to the Blue Mountains. And those car trips were one of the highlights of traveling back to Australia. The stories he would tell and the way he would tell them would have us just absolutely in stitches or gripped, completely captivated by what he was talking about. That's what you feel when you read a Joe R. Lansdale novel. You get that feeling of a good friend just telling you a story that's at times funny, at times disturbing, just a really good voice. So I'm just going to get straight into it. Here is the next edition of Okay, let's start with More Better Deals. Now, this book is basically crime noir, very similar in tone to a Coen Brothers film like Fargo or Blood Simple. The story itself is about a used car salesman called Ed Edwards, who is sent to repossess a Cadillac by his boss and ends up getting kind of caught up with the femme fatale of the story. And then it kind of evolves into a murder and kidnapping plot that, like all good crime books, crime novels, crime films, crime TV shows, it just goes wrong. It's told from Ed's point of view, so you get a really good understanding of his character. It's set in the 60s, the early 60s, where in the town that he's living in, there's still that division between white and black. And his father, who is no longer in the picture, was a black man, and his mother was white. So he is kind of mixed blood, and he's trying to hide it from everyone, along with his sister. And they have an older brother who is working in Detroit, which plays a part in understanding Ed's character quite a lot. He is not a bad man. He just makes some very bad choices. And that kind of comes full circle, comes around to kind of bite him in the ass. Really interesting, fantastic book. A lot of fun. Some great twists in there. Very, very enjoyable. If you like the Coen brothers sort of feeling, then this is definitely one you should check out. On the flip side of that, we have Moon Lake, which is actually described as an East Texas Gothic. It's written right there. Now, Moon Lake, again, it starts in the 60s. It starts in a town that has that division, the racial segregation. But what's interesting about this story is that it kind of, the whole story revolves around Moon Lake, which is a lake that flooded an entire town. A lot of people died. And then a new town was kind of built on the shores of the lake. And it starts out with the main character, Daniel Russell, who his mother has left him. His father is in a really bad way, and his father decides that they can't go on, and he is going to basically kill himself and Daniel by driving their car off a bridge and into the lake. Daniel survives, and 10 years later, the car is found with his father's remains after a drought has kind of dried the lake up. So Daniel comes back to town. He's a writer and a journalist. And this is where the shit really hits the fan. This is crime at its very best. There's a little bit of kind of a supernatural element that's not really supernatural, but that's the way it seems to the main character. You have a town council of these kind of suspicious rich people with their kind of rituals and things like that. And bad shit has been going on in this town for a long time, and Daniel is slowly kind of uncovering the secrets to it. Another really fantastic book, very similar in some parts to More Better Deals, but tonally very, very different. And it just goes to show you how great Joe R. Lansdale is as a writer. It's all about the story. There are some fantastic descriptions. The characters come out very, very well, especially through the first-person narration. But the stories are what ultimately draws you to these books. So I'm not going to go into any more detail. I'm not going to spoil anything for you. I want you to go and check these books out yourself. But please go and look up some Joe R. Lansdale, some short stories, even some of the TV shows, the Hap and Leonard series, or the first episode of Masters of Horror. I believe it was called An Incident on and Off a Mountain Road, was based on one of Joe R. Lansdale's short stories. Bubba Hotep, the fantastic film with Bruce Campbell as Elvis living in a nursing home fighting a mummy with JFK. Yes, it's as awesome as it sounds. That was based on one of Joe R. Lansdale's short stories as well. So ultimately, these two books, highly recommend them. Joe R. Lansdale as an author, highly recommend. Check him out. You will not regret it. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the button down below. You can go to Redbubble, get some awesome merchandise like this t-shirt. Go and look on Amazon for Plaguelands Media's comic books, Nevermore, our collections of short stories, our kids' books. Go and check out our website, www.plaguelandsmedia.com, for some Loki the Viking stuff. Or, if you don't want to do any of that, just read a fucking book, people.